Hello everyone and welcome to Tastefully Simple's TS Presents Burgers That Impress. My name is Jane Neighbor. I am the culinary director here at Tastefully Simple out on the prairie in beautiful Alexandria, Minnesota. And we are joined today by the delightful Chef Matthew Jensen. Chef Matthew has a restaurant here in town called La Ferme. He's going to tell you all about that, and he's going to give us some fabulous tips on how to do a better job of making gourmet burgers at home. But before we get rolling here, I just want to give you the high-level overview of how this works. You may be here because you're a Tastefully Simple consultant, or a host, or a guest. No matter the reason, we're glad you're here. You can visit our website at tastefullysimple.com when you're ready to shop, or use the link that your consultant provided for you to go right to his or her website. And I have great news. For today only, we have a very special offer on a sauce assortment that's perfect for burgers. It's called our featured sauce assortment. I have it right over here. There's 4 different flavors. We'll get into that as we go through our program today. But today only, you will get an extra $3 off of that sauce assortment. All you have to do when you get to our website is type the promo code IMPRESS into the promo code box, and you will get that extra $3 off. So, let's get rolling. Chef, are you ready to make some burgers?
I'm hungry.
I'm hungry. This smells delicious. We've already got a head start here, so we'd have some delicious things to show you. But first, give us the high-level overview of how you went from being a dude on the prairie to a critically acclaimed chef. Tell us about your journey.
So, I'm from Minnesota, and I had an opportunity to move out to Los Angeles, and that is where I went to culinary school. Lived out there for about 3 years. It was an associate's degree program at California School of Culinary Arts. And at the end of school, I was ready to leave Los Angeles. It's the concrete jungle, just like they say.
That was enough for the guy from the prairie.
You miss the seasons. You really do.
Yeah.
I loved golfing in my shorts on Christmas Eve, but I really miss the seasons.
Good point.
So I had my first opportunity out of culinary school. I moved back to Minneapolis and worked in the Twin Cities area for about another 4 years before I had the opportunity to move back to Alexandria.
Okay. This is kind of your hometown area, right?
Grew up here.
Yeah.
I knew this is where I wanted to settle down, have my family, raise my kids. And so, like I said, first opportunity that I had, I moved out here and then kind of worked in Alexandria for a couple people before I had the opportunity to open up my own restaurant. La Ferme. It's downtown, and we are celebrating a big milestone this year. We're having our 5th birthday. That's April 1st, and so we're going to be doing a lot of fun with that.
All right, and you guys are farm to fork, right?
Farm to fork, yes.
So you're supporting local businesses with pretty much everything, vegetables, proteins, all of that?
In the summertime, I would say 90% of all of the product that we use comes within 25 miles of the back door of the restaurant. And then what we don't get locally at least comes within the borders of the state of Minnesota.
Awesome. So that's such a trend right now. I think everybody's trying to do a better job of eating local. We have meal kits that I love because you add your own fresh ingredients. A lot of meal kits, you get the produce with it, and heaven only knows where that came from. And so with ours, you add your own local fresh proteins and vegetables, so that's pretty awesome. And let's start talking about some of that local beef that we have right here. The best burgers start with some really good beef. And so, Chef, I just want you to, I have some beef here. I got some of it from our local grocery store, and I got some from a local meat market. So I think you'll be able to see here what we've got, maybe a little...
I twisted them on you.
Yeah, that's all right. So we'll just show that to our camera here so we can kind of talk about notable differences between the two. So can you tell which is which?
Grocery store, meat market.
Good job. You passed question number 1. All right, so how did you know, or what's the difference?
There's a difference in the grind, and then there's a noticeable difference in the color. More likely than not, you're from the meat market, the stuff is ground this morning, and so you can kind of see that nice red color that's in there. Yep. It's a little darker too. And it's also that color is going to come from the cuts that they use that are inside of that. You know, they're going to use chuck as a predominant. They might put some brisket or flank steak in with that. Okay. Where most of the grocery stores, you're typically going to get something that wasn't ground on site. And so this just was probably something that They just put into a tray and made it look nice for you when you picked it up.
Okay, so this is like noses and knees, or what part of the cow goes into that? Not brisket and flank steak?
I don't know.
Okay.
And,
All right.
and I don't know that we really want to know.
No, we probably don't want to know. But what we are going to do is throw all of that in a bowl. We're going to mix it up so nobody will ever know. But it is a good point, because when I did go to the meat market this morning, they did tell me that they grind their beef fresh every morning, so I felt good about that. All right, so what we're going to make here is one of our burgers, and if you happen to have a catalog and you're following along at home, on pages 24 and 25 of our new spring catalog, we have some beautiful burgers here. And Chef Matthew and I are going to be focusing on those 4 burgers today. And this is that featured sauce assortment that's normally $35.96, and today it's an extra $3 off if you use that promo code IMPRESS. And so the first burger that we're going to be making here is this tropical tequila burger. Excuse me, Chef, I'm just going to grab this sauce here. Oh, Jason, I'll show that to you first, actually. So this is our new tropical tequila sauce. It is a delightful sauce. It's got like pineapple and mango and all kinds of fresh fruity flavors in it, and it's beautiful in a burger or on a burger. And while Chef is mixing or pattying up his burgers, I am going to make the topping that goes on this, which is kind of a pineapple guacamole. So Matthew, you need to add a tablespoon of our onion, which is half a cap. And then you kind of salt and pepper these to taste, and since we have my favorite burger seasoning here, which is Ultimate Steak Seasoning, I'm going to have you use some of that in place of the salt. This has about half as much salt as table salt, so do your thing. And then, like I said, while he's doing that, I am going to make this pineapple guacamole. We'll start with some guacamole or with avocado here. So while we're doing this, Chef Matthew, why don't you just tell us a little bit about what makes a better burger. We've talked about the beef. That's one thing that makes it taste so much different in the restaurant and so much better. And it's all about getting it local, fresh ground from a butcher maybe instead of a grocery store. What else? What can you tell us about cooking?
Fresh burger is always the best. We might not always have access to that. Like at our restaurant, we get a half a cow in, and so out of a half a cow, we probably get 50 pounds of burger off of that.
Yeah.
And so it's hard. I mean, you can't keep that fresh. So we do freeze ours. Okay. There's a noticeable difference, though, between when it's fresh and frozen. If you're going to use frozen, you want to make sure to let that thaw. I would say at least 3 days in the refrigerator before you use it. What happens when you freeze meat, a lot of the juices are going to come out. And so if you've ever thawed meat out in the refrigerator, you might notice that there's a lot of juice in there. So what I do...
noticed that.
Oh, so and I noticed it too. So what we do is we'll take it out of and thaw it in the refrigerator. Maybe once a day, take it and flip that package over. So then the juice will get back into the meat.
So it kind of reabsorbs?
Reabsorbs. You want that juice because that juice is flavor, and that's what makes a really good hamburger too.
Awesome. Okay. And so, yeah, most of us don't have... You actually work with a farmer, and they, like, raise a cow for you.
They do. We've got cows so once a month we get a cow.
That's pretty cool. I don't get a cow once a month at my house.
I don't know that too many people would. That's a lot of meat.
So, all right, so we want to thaw out that hamburger. We want to be using it. So what temperature should it be when it goes on the grill? Like room temperature or right out of the fridge, or what do you think?
I like to let it sit out for about an hour, so room temperature.
Okay.
Whatever seasonings you're going to put in, mix it in right away when you get it out of the refrigerator, or overnight is really good too. But allowing that meat to come up to room temperature is going to allow it to really absorb a lot of the flavors that are in that whatever it is that you've added to it.
Okay. Tell me about seasonings. I know you said how much salt do you put in for about a pound of ground beef?
Pound of ground beef, about a half a teaspoon.
Half a teaspoon. Okay, so you don't put a lot on. Do you season it again when you take it off?
I don't personally.
You don't, okay.
Because I'm looking at all of this other stuff that we're going to put on burgers,
right, which
that are seasoned nicely too.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I like the burger's kind of a platform. You want to have great meat because you need to have a solid platform for good flavor.
Exactly.
But all the other things like this guacamole is going to be amazing on there. Mm-hmm. You want that fresh avocado to really shine through, and so you're going to focus on that and just have a nice, like I said, platform.
Okay, very good. So how high is your grill? Are you medium or medium high? Where are you at there?
High. That's another thing. A lot of people
I
ask
would not
me.
have done that.
You want your grill to be really hot. So if you have like a gas grill, what I
Yep.
usually do, if it's like half of it, you can usually control different temperatures. So I'll
Yep.
have half of it cranked on as hot as it'll go, half an hour, 45 minutes. The other half will just have it at about a medium temperature. And so when you first put your burgers on, you want it on that really hot temperature. That helps the meat so it's not going to stick.
Oh, got ya.
And so hot grill.
super hot to throw it on. Then do you lower the temp or do you leave it up?
Nope. So I'm gonna get my marks on the burger, and then when I'm ready to flip, then I'm gonna move it over to the side that's only on medium temperature, and then let it cook that way. That way you're allowing the time for it to get cooked all the way through.
And so tell me, what is something that people do to their burgers at home that makes you sad?
Overcooking the burger. That's really sad.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna lose a lot of your flavor. You're gonna lose your juice.
I hate it when I lose my juice.
Oh. and then you get that puck too.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
if you've noticed, nice and flat, big patties.
Okay.
These look really big right
They
now.
are really big.
But you're going to lose 25% of that as it cooks just for
Cook it up.
evaporation. I mean, and the meat is going to kind of come together as it cooks. And
Yep.
so, it looks big. You want it to be bigger than what your bun is, considerably. And so then when it cooks, you take it off, it's going to fit your bun perfect.
I think that's what makes me sad is when somebody gives me this big giant bun, and I do like big buns because I cannot lie, but I don't like it when the meat patty is half the size of the bun. So that's why we ended up making these so big, is because we had these great big delicious looking onion buns. We wanted the meat to fill up that plate, so there you go. All right, well, I just want to tell you about my little pineapple guacamole here for a second, because I have some beautifully mashed avocado here, which I use my pastry blender for, because I think that's a divine tool for making guacamole.
I do that at the restaurant.
Do you really?
Yes.
I feel so much chefier right now. That is awesome. And so I also have here, this is some fresh pico de gallo. I didn't make it. I just bought it at the store because I didn't have time to make this and everything else. And it's delicious because it's local, and so I know our store makes it. And then I've got some crushed pineapple here, so I'm going to pour that in. I made a test run of this with some guests that we had. They went crazy over this. We had the potential to eat a whole bag of chips using this. And then I'm just going to pour in about a tablespoon of our tropical tequila sauce here, and then mix that up, and we're going to top our burger with it.
You need to have smell-o-vision. This smells so good.
I know, doesn't it smell good?
That fresh garlic, the red onion that's in there.
Yeah, red onion. Even the pineapple, you kind of get a whiff of that too. So then that's it. That's all you do to make this amazing topping. And I'm just going to put some of that right on our burger here. Actually, you're over there. You can do that, chef. And so that is our tropical tequila burger. Chef, you just let us know when you're ready to flip those. Do you want a spatula? Or are you going to do that with your bare hands?
I can show off and do my bare hands if you want.
You probably could.
We're going to wait a little bit on it. That's
Yeah.
another thing that a lot of people have issues with is the patience. And so if you're having trouble with your burger sticking to the grill or it's falling apart when you're trying to flip it, you got to let it sit because it's going to cook. Right now it's stuck to the grill. Eventually it's going to release itself when it gets fully cooked. And so then it should just come up super easy.
Okay, so how many times do you flip your burger? I always hear you should only flip once. Is that
Yep.
true?
Yep.
Okay.
So
So how do you know? Like, you just lift up an edge?
no, we're going to look, you can kind of see along the edges right here, it's starting to show the signs of it being cooked.
Okay.
We need a nice solid ring all the way around the edge on the top of the burger here.
All right.
You should be able to see the cooked meat. So when it starts to turn brown along the edge, that's when
That's
you know
when
it's
I know.
ready.
So how do I know that it's like not overcooking then? Because now I'm panicked about overcooking my burger.
Oh no, not a chance.
Not a
Because
chance?
your middle is going to be nice and pink still. We're not going to wait for it to be gray all the way over. But the thing is you're going to do 60 to 70% of the cooking is going to be on this
On
one
the
side.
one side.
Yep, which should be your
Ah.
presentation side. You
Right.
want to have those nice grill marks on
Yep.
there. And so you do 70% of the cooking. When you flip it over, it should take half the amount of time for cooking than on this full side.
Okay, another pro tip from Chef Matthew. I would not have known any of that. Hey, I'm going to get into the next, we also want to tell you about some substitutions you make here, but before we do that, I just wanted, I brought this Minnesota Monthly magazine. Chef Matthew is in one of the Minnesota magazines almost every month, I swear, and so in the iconic Eats edition, Chef Matthew is featured, so you're amazing. He was also voted the most romantic restaurant in Minnesota, right?
Most romantic in Minnesota.
Isn't that the coolest thing? That's his restaurant.
It's an honor.
So that's very cool though. I think it's amazing that people outside of the metro area even know about you and they're willing to come out and visit us out here in Alexandria. All right, so in our catalog we also offer some what we like to call culinary secrets. And one of our culinary secrets for our burger recipes is that you can swap out the protein really easily. If you're not into ground beef one night or ever, you can use chicken breast, which we have here. This is just a grilled chicken breast, and Chef, you like butterflied that or did something fancy to that to make it. It looks really huge on that bun. It's really just one chicken breast. Oh, there you go. There you go.
I did. So it was a whole chicken breast. I took and just kind of cut right down the middle, but I didn't go all the way through. And so then it just lays out flat. You just kind of maybe push on your hands just to kind of flatten it out so it's nice and even.
And then it's easier to get it cooked properly.
Cooks a lot faster.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
So I want you to talk to us about cooking chicken because I know a lot of people who fear cooking chicken breast because they never know when it's done, and you're pretty sure that if you eat raw chicken, you're going to get salmonella. Everybody's probably going to die.
That's a big fear.
Do bad things happen?
Bad things do not
good
happen.
People.
No. The Department of Health, the United States Department of Health, says you should cook chicken to 160 degrees. They actually lowered that temperature 5 degrees. About, I think it was last year or 2 years ago that they lowered the internal cooking
Yeah,
temperature.
because it used to be 165.
It used to be 165 for all poultry. So your Thanksgiving turkey has also been lowered, which is going to help a lot of people because it dries out so fast.
I know.
So for me, when we're cooking chicken at the restaurant, we're going to cook it to an internal temperature of 158 degrees.
Okay.
That's a little bit below what you're supposed to do, but what's happening is you're going to pull that off the heat and you're going to put it on a plate. You're going to walk over to your kitchen table with it. In that amount of time, it's still cooking.
Okay.
It's called carryover cooking time. And so the temperature went from 158 to actually about 161, 162 by the time you got it onto your table.
Okay.
And so that's helping big time for the juice, keeping it nice and juicy, that flavor. Yep.
Even just those couple of degrees matter.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. It's very important. So 158 degrees, like I said, is what we'll cook ours to. Pull it off. Most meat, you want to let it rest about half the amount of time of what you cooked it with.
I just want to tell them about my instant read thermometer, which is a great way, if you're not a chef, to tell. Because you poke it into the chicken, and for this one, you go in like sideways here. Not that way, because it's thin. And if you went straight down, you'd probably just poke it all the way through, touch your grill, and it would be like 1,000 degrees.
Right. That would
But
not
if
be
you
fun.
go in this way, you get to the center of it, and you can tell what temperature it's at. So this is what I use. Instant, it is.
It's really fast.
Yeah.
Those are so nice.
They're great. So anyway, I'm sorry, you were telling us about chicken, but I just wanted to point this handy tool out.
I kind of lost my
Yeah,
train
that's
of
all
thought.
right. What we were talking about, though, is get it off of the grill, a couple of degrees before it's ready. Kind of like you said with the hamburger, where you're going to pull that off a little bit. Oh, now see, there's juice coming out. Yeah, Jason, can you show us
this color
this?
right there? You can start to see how it's cooked along the edges right there.
I do see that.
We're ready to
We're
flip.
ready. This is the moment.
Here it comes.
Okay. Wow.
Nice and seared.
That looks great.
I'll use that one.
I'm glad that happens to you, too. Beautiful. See, now you have grill marks going both directions. How'd you do that? I mean, I didn't even see you. Like, I thought we were only going to flip one time, so you moved it.
I didn't flip it, but I moved it. Partway through, you can kind of just give the burger a little bit of a nudge. Like right now, I'm nudging it. It's not moving because it's stuck.
Right.
And so that's the problem is people are going to start, well, they want to try and do that.
They want to mess around with it.
You just give it a little nudge. When it's loose,
it'll let you know.
Just give it a little quarter of a turn. And then that's how you get those nice grill marks on there.
Tricky, because I did not even see you do that. That was, all right, that's a good trick. Okay, so we have our, why don't you grab that raspberry lime sauce on the end there. So that's the sauce that we used on this chicken breast. So, Chef, I think you basted the chicken breast with some of that while it was on the grill. Tell us about the timing of that.
I got my grill marks on this chicken breast, flipped it over, just like the burgers here, and I did a little baste right away with it. And then as it was cooking, right before I took it off, I did another baste with it. I wanted to baste it right away because that really allows the flavor of the sauce to kind of get into the meat.
Okay, so you basted it when it was basically raw. I mean, you put some on there?
Yeah, yep.
Because I'm always worried this is, there's some sweetness to this sauce, so I'm always worried that it's going to burn.
You got to be careful with that.
Okay.
And so this wouldn't be done over high heat on your grill. 'Cause
So
you're right,
that would be
will
lower.
burn.
Okay.
Yep.
So like medium? Okay.
Mark it on the hot side, like I said. Move it over to the cold side. When you flip it,
Same
baste
deal.
it. Yeah.
And then same deal here where I do most of my cooking on one side of the chicken?
Yeah.
And am I watching the edges just like I was with the burger?
Just like the burger.
Okay.
Yep.
I feel like I'm learning something here. All right, so when we serve this, we'd probably drizzle a little bit of more sauce on that, and then you'd have a delightful raspberry chipotle glazed chicken breast instead of making it with ground beef the way the recipe says. Otherwise, we pretty much followed it a little bit. You know, obviously we didn't mix anything into the chicken, but otherwise we pretty much followed that recipe. This is the tropical tequila burger that we made. And then I want to tell you about this one. This is our buffalo. It's called a buffalo bacon blue burger. And so instead of using ground beef for this one, I used ground turkey. You can also use ground chicken. And I want to talk about purchasing ground poultry because in our grocery store, I can get like 99% lean. How do you feel about that?
You're going to be careful when you're cooking it. Yep.
Okay.
It's kind of the same with the burger. I always go for something that's going to be like an 86. So one way to do that, I mean, most of the time when you're getting ground poultry of whatever sort, it's going to be 99% lean.
Okay.
You just need to be careful about cooking it because it's going to overcook and dry out really fast.
Yeah.
Or you can take some bacon, chop it up really fine, and mix it in with that. And so then you've got a little bit of fat product in there to kind of help keep it juicy during cooking.
And you have a little bit of bacon in there.
Bacon is amazing.
So on this one we have no bacon, sadly. We put that on our chicken breast though. And you know what? We were going to tell them about that bacon because it's actually pancetta. What is the difference between bacon and pancetta?
So pancetta comes from the Old World. And so it's pork that's been wrapped up.
The Old World being Italy, or what does that mean?
Italy, France, and so Europe.
All right.
So they've taken this, and it's actually rolled up. Sometimes they'll have a little bit of spices in it. You'll find them, they're kind of pinwheeled. If you get it whole, sometimes in grocery stores they'll have them pre-sliced for you, which is nice and handy.
Yeah.
And so then what they do is a salt cure on that. And so bacon is a smoke cure.
Smoke cure, okay.
Yep.
All
And
right.
so you get a little bit of salt, and then you get the smoke with the bacon. This is going to be, I've seen them smoked, but traditionally it's just a salt cure. It sits in salt for about 180 days, and then they slice it.
And
So there's a different
voila.
color in there.
Okay, but you
This
could
is
use
fun.
bacon or pancetta on this recipe. I know people say they're really not the same thing at all, but for us, they're interchangeable.
Oh, it's awesome.
Yeah.
I love using pancetta.
Yes, I agree. So back to our turkey burger here. This is our buffalo turkey. So in this one, we were using our, what did we put in our buffalo one, Chef Matthew? We put in some of our garlic parmesan wing sauce, which is a delightful sauce. It's a little, obviously, like the name says, a little more garlicky than a regular wing sauce. It's got a little kick to it, but not a lot. So if you're afraid of super hot wing sauce, this wouldn't qualify for that. It just adds a really nice layer of flavor in there, especially when you mix it into the meat, because then it's not hot at all. It just flavors that meat, and then when you serve it, you can, of course, drizzle some more over the top. So we've got some blue cheese, we have cheddar cheese on ours because we went cheese crazy this morning. We've got some fried onions and some chopped chives, so that's going to be a delightful substitution for burger on that one. And then finally we grilled a piece of salmon for our Bayou Jack burger, because Bayou Bourbon Glaze is another one in that sauce assortment. It's got like some soy and a little bit of molasses, and I don't know, it's a very delicious sauce that pairs beautifully with salmon. So we are gonna, for serving, drizzle, why don't you hand me that, Bayou? We drizzle a little bit of this glaze on there, and I'm gonna do that so you can just kind of see the thickness of the sauce here. This is one of our best-selling sauces, so people love this stuff. So I'm just gonna give this a little drizzle on my salmon. You can see it's got some little chunky onion bits in there. Very delightful. So we made burgers with ground beef. We learned how to choose our ground beef. We substituted in a chicken breast and learned how to cook that properly. We've got our tropical tequila burger here with that amazing pineapple guacamole. Feel free to take a bite of that if you want. And then we've got our ground turkey burger that we made with our bold buffalo sauce and our garlic parmesan wing sauce. We substituted in some salmon. So we've had all kinds of wonderful ideas for making burgers all summer long. Again, our sauce assortment is an extra $3 off today only. Just type the word IMPRESS into the promo code box and you'll get to take advantage of that special offer. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to your consultant. He or she would be happy to help you with your shopping experience and answer any questions that you may have. And Chef Matthew, I'm delighted that you were able to join us today.
It's fun. I love cooking.
Well,
That's what I do.
Exactly. I'm very happy to hear you say that. So I think for today we have shared everything that we wanted to share with you. Again, visit us at tastefullysimple.com or use the link that your consultant provided for you. And I hope that you will join us again for our next TS Presents. Bye, everyone.
Have a good day.